Right guys, welcome, best fans in the world, how you all doing? Another positive week in the life of being a Middlesbrough fan. We've made it hard this season, haven't we? But we're not going to talk about the Middlesbrough-Bristol City game because that's not what I'm here to do. So, we're kind of on location. What's kind of happened this week is Rob's had a few issues with his shed and also with the council and also with the electricity board. I don't really know if he wants me to tell you this, but hey, why not? We're all friends. So what we've had to come and do is hook ourselves up to one of these massive, huge turbines. So this is the preview, and we're live on location outside some massive turbine. I have not got no link for this. What I have got though, wish you could see this, is somebody stood behind the camera here, inside a van with an umbrella up. We thought Steve McLaren was bad. If you could only see what I could see. So that leads me nicely into saying hello to Mr. Roberto. How are you doing?
I'm quite dry under here, mate.
Are you?
I am.
You sure you've got enough canopies up there, Rob?
It's a bit chilly with the wind, but I'll survive.
That'll do you. That'll do. Let's just crack on with this because I'm freezing. We're nearly in the middle, we're nearly at May, and I'm outside, freezing, about -80. So, right, let's talk about what we're here to do. Millwall v Borough. Borough v Millwall for your perfectionists out there. So, it's all come down to this really, hasn't it? We win tomorrow, it's done and dusted. They win, they're right back in the mixture, and we're opening it up to other people getting involved into six, but I think we're safe now. But let's just get a win under our belts tomorrow. Millwall. Now, as we all know, they were on a big 17-game unbeaten run. Fulham turned them over a week ago. They've had over a week off. 3-0 at the Den. Kale got sent off in the last 10 minutes for an elbow, which you wouldn't be surprised. That was kind of what Kale was all about. Good player in his day, but as he's kind of years have caught on, he's kind of got a little bit more aggressive. So, no Kale, which I don't know if it'll be that much of a big miss for him because he hasn't really, he's been a bit part player. But let's get on with the sort of, with the Millwall team. Let's have a little chat about the Millwall team. So, impressed me this season. They started their unbeaten run when they beat Borough at the Den, when they turned us over 2-1 that day. It was an appalling performance. It was another monk performance, so we won't get bogged down in that. But ever since that point, they've been unbeaten. Now, they've only just kind of kept themselves treading water with us. Brentford, so you could say, Bristol City, Sheffield United, Cardiff, Villa, Derby, who've really been a bit like that, we could say, and yet they've been fighting tooth and nail to keep a 17-game unbeaten run just to stay where they are. Now, a lot of people are saying that they've overachieved this season, which they kind of have for what they set out to be at the beginning, the sort of what they wanted to do at the beginning of the season, which was just maintain their league status. They were favourites to go down, along with Bristol City, funnily enough. But I'm not really one of these people that believe in all that. Yes, you can overdo your expectations for the start of the season, but I do believe that this is a half-decent team in this league. They couldn't go that beaten for that long, and they've beaten some good teams within that run, unless you've got a standard of play. Now, whether they can maintain that standard till the end of the season, let's hope they can't, especially with us on Saturday. Then they play Villa as well. But whether they can maintain that standard or not, I don't know. Whether they can reproduce it next season may not be anything for us to worry about at all. But from a Millwall's point of view, Millwall fans' point of view, I think you've got a team there that have proved with the manager and the coaching staff and the whole sort of ethos that you're creating that you can operate at that level. And maybe if you spend correctly next year with a bit more, you know, bringing a few more decent players, then why can't you challenge again? That's depending on what happens this year. So fingers crossed that nothing does happen. So, who've they bought in? They will have spent 12.3 million this season, Millwall. We spent that on a sombre longer. They've brought in some good players. Saville, for example, from Wolves. Brilliant season for him. He scored 10 goals this season, few assists. Brilliant player this season for them. Gregory, another one who they brought in from Wolves, who I think's on loan. I'm not too sure with Millwall fans. You can correct me there. Great season also. I think he scored around 8 or 10 league goals. Lots of assists. They've got Morrison, who seems to have been around for ages. He's had grey hair since he was about 7-year-old. I think there's only him and Fabrizio Ravanelli who I've ever seen with grey hair from the ages of seven upwards. But he's had a really productive season for them also. So's Wallace, who's been another good signing for them. Wallace, you know, is a player that cost next to nothing, as did Saville. I think Saville was about 450,000. impressed. It just goes to show you don't need to spend millions to have a decent season in this league. And also, you don't go and beat 17 games in this league unless you are a decent team. We all know how fickle this league is. Just look at the Derby Cardiff result in midweek. Who'd have thought that Derby, especially going 1-0 down after the result against us, which we totally bossed, by the way, would get anything there. So it's a fickle old league. So you can't go 17 games by being just a lucky team. Few players have really impressed me that I've mentioned there. And also, I'm really impressed with Hutchinson there, centre-back. They normally play Hutchinson and Cooper. Hutchinson's a strong centre-back, left-sided. Another cheap signing, around about £375,000, I think. Something around that mark. But really impressed me. Now, what he's done this season, Harrison, is he's kept the core. Sorry, Harrison, he's kept the core. He's had Cooper and Hutchinson centre-backs with... Archer, the goalkeeper, who's been ever present. Meredith, who's been a good signing, left back from Bradford. Really impressed with him also. He's been an ever present. Then they've had Saville, who's been an ever present. And then Morrison or Gregory, who's been an ever present. They've had kind of a really good core there, an English core. He brought in Romeo, who's a right back. I think he's an Antiguan international. Another player that's impressed me. But, so this is a team that, like I say, have been greater than the sum of the parts. So, are there someone for us to worry about? Yes, they are. I'm not into all this, just because Fulham beat them 3-0 in their own backyard. Me and Rob were talking about this off camera, and I'll ask Rob again, you know, in a minute about what his version of this is. But for me personally, I think just because they've been beaten against Fulham, they've had a good week to sort of lick the wounds and look over it. And from the season that they've had, and the manager that I think Neil Harris is that he's not going to let them walk into the Riverside, and they've still got a chance of getting into a playoff spot and blowing that. I genuinely think it'll be a tough game on Saturday. A lot of people are writing Millwall off because they've been beaten, but I kind of think it's a slap in the face that you need when they've been that many games unbeaten to kind of go, whoa, look, you know, you're not just going to waltz into this. So, Rob, I mean, you said earlier that you think that they're possibly going to lose 2. I think that, we're not going to, the predictions are just our predictions. I'm not trying to say that I know everything here. It's just, I'm surmising from what I've seen and what I've looked at with the team. I think it'll be a really tight game, either Borough 2-1 or it'll be a draw. Rob thinks differently.
I think we'll win tomorrow 3-1.
And you think Millwall will get beat? They've got Villa away last game of the season, Millwall.
I think the runs come at the wrong time, like the end of the run.
So
I think that's going to just wreck their confidence now.
So this is what we're talking about, and I think a lot of Borough fans are probably going to be in the percentage area of what Rob's saying, where they think that they've blew it now, but I just don't know if that's the case, because I think if they'd have played Fulham midweek, let's say Wednesday, then they come to the Riverside Saturday, and then maybe they would be still a little bit confidence dip, but I think they've had enough time to turn that around, and as we all know, football is all about confidence. Like I say, this team's impressed me this season. More than, say, for example, if we'd have had Borough putting that same run together, maybe being, again, I come back to this because they've been coached really well. You know, they really have. Like I say, people are saying they're a bunch of average players, but they've proved that they're better than that. They've been coached really well, so I don't know if Borough have had that same input, that same emphasis this season. Would we have smoked the league? Would we be where Wolves are? Would it be us and Wolves? But again, when we look at it, we've got teams in there that we've mentioned there. I've just mentioned Villa. Villa have got a good squad, I don't care what anyone says. That's a team on the day that can turn anyone over. But again, they're quite a fickle team, as QPR proved. They went there and Villa beat Fulham, turned them over, beat Wolves, turned them over, and then the QPR come to Villa Park and make them look stupid. So, but like I say, there's teams in that where we are now that on paper, squad-wise, are miles away from Millwall, but then it just goes to show, and this is my point here, guys, that you have the right infrastructure and you can achieve anything, no matter whether you're buying players for 100 grand from Bradford City or whether you're buying players for 12 million from Nottingham Forest. It doesn't matter. If the coach is done, the coaching's done, as we all know, then you'll improve, you'll get better, and then your players will get to the level that they should be at. So, yes, me and Rob agree, Millwall are probably operating at the level they are at now. They're not going to improve any further past that. But they are a team, still, they are a team that could come and get a result on Saturday. So, as I've said, I think it'll be a tight game. I really don't know. I hope it's a Borough win like we all do. But, as we've said, this league's fickle and anything can happen. So, I'm going to err on the side of caution and go Borough 2-1. Rob? fair enough. I hope you're right. So, you know, again, as always, it's going to be, let's have a positive atmosphere. This game kind of reminds me a little bit of the Brighton Borough game when we had to get a point to go up, because it's in our hands again. And sometimes that worries me when it's in our hands. But we take the lead, we won't lose it, as we've proved this season. So we'll stick with them predictions. The one thing that I also want to say is let's get behind the team, like I say. We'll be positive as forever, as we always are. Big sellout crowd, and hopefully we turn them over in style. Just before I go, I just want to dedicate this show to a special little friend of mine, little Maisie Moo. You know who you are, you're out there watching. And also, guys, we've got 2 season tickets to give away still. So if you want to get involved in that, you need to get on our platforms, like, share and subscribe us on Twitter, on YouTube and on Facebook, even though that's all dad now. Get on there. If you want to win these season tickets for some Premiership football next season, get involved, become a member. So, I've been Foxy, that's been Roberto, aka The Stig. Peace out, guys, wherever you are, whoever you are, up the Borough.